So the budget day was here today, and we're here to tell you how exactly can you maximize your savings and how can your income be impacted. And to explain all this, I'm joined by Karan Batra, who's the managing partner of Chartered Club. Karan, welcome to this show. We want to know firstly, how would you categorize this budget? Do you think it's pocket friendly or not pocket friendly?
Well, yes, pocket friendly for certain and not pocket friendly for the rest. So the slab rates have changed. The standard deduction has increased. So earlier standard deduction was up to 50,000. Now that is up to 75,000. Plus the slab rates have changed. So this will result in a net saving of around 17,500 rupees per individual, which I believe is huge.
For everyone, this 17,500 is for anyone or just certain specific people?
For people earning more than 10 lakh rupees. Maybe if a person is earning less, then his net savings would be lesser. But that is how the government publishes it, 17,500. And the other good part is that the gold rates have reduced. So earlier the custom duty on gold, silver, platinum was around 14-15%. Now it has been reduced to 6%. And in fact, I was just checking in the markets, the gold prices have already reduced. The jewelers, they've reduced the prices by around 4,000-5,000 rupees for 10 grams each, which is again huge.
Okay, time to rush and buy the gold now, that means.
Well, I'm not saying that. Maybe they reduce even further. Let's see how the market reacts.
But if the duty reduces, that would mean the gold coming into the country will become cheaper. So people who were bringing in gold, personally also, and declaring it, assuming, they were paying a duty on it, of course. So that cost of the gold would reduce. So do you think that would impact the buying of the gold in the retail shops as well? If I go to a jewelry shop, will that become cheaper now?
Yes, practical, as I said. Even if you go to a jewelry shop, the jewelers have reduced the price by 4,000-5,000 rupees for 10 grams. So that will impact the demand. And with the wedding season coming up in the second half of the year, that has a direct correlation.
Okay. So I think people can take that 17,500 annually that they save and probably put it in some sort of a saving. And one of the form of saving could be a gold. They could probably buy something in gold. But I have a question for you. This is the income tax changes that we have seen, which can lead to savings. But if I am a big saver already, I've been working for a while. Let's say I've been working for 20 years. I've been saving in different instruments. I have a feeling my savings might also be impacted by this budget. So what is the impact that's going to happen to if I am the kind of a saver who puts money in diverse instruments, mutual funds, land, different types of savings?
Yes, so for a saver who already has built certain assets, there is a bad news that the tax rates have increased. So if you're investing into shares or mutual funds, then the long-term capital gain rates have increased from 10% to 12.5%. Similarly, the short-term capital gain rates have increased from 15% to 20%. In fact, apart from this change, there's another change that the rate of tax on real estate properties has also changed. So earlier, it was the flat rate of 20% on long-term assets. However, the indexation benefits was allowed. Now they've removed the indexation benefit and the rate has been reduced to 12.5%.
Okay. But the indexation benefits used to really benefit.
Yes. The indexation benefits were good because the computation of capital gain used to change. So this will impact the real estate owners as well. Their tax rates may increase. Their net outgo on sale of a property may increase.
Okay. So from what I understand, this is the perfect time to be young. So if you're just entering the workforce, if you just got your job, this would be the perfect time to start saving as well. And you would have more money in your hand also. The government is putting more money into the hand of the young. Can I say that?
Yes, absolutely right. And what they've also done is the import duty on mobile phones, that has also been reduced.
Right. So, Karan, it's quite obvious this is a very youth-oriented budget. In fact, if you look at the schemes that have been launched by the government, some of them are very specific to youth and employment. A sort of a pain point that the opposition party, especially Congress, used to target the government on: youth and employment. So, how has the government tackled that?
Yes, so for the youth, for the rural employment, government has done certain things. They have incentivized manufacturing. So if a person is joining employment, the government would also be contributing and incentivizing the employees and the employers. So the government has taken the appropriate benefits and the appropriate measures to push forward the rural sector, so that there's job creation in the rural sector and the rural sector also starts kicking up. Government has tried its best.
Right. Also, seems to be an internship scheme that they have started. The intention, of course, is that the corporate sector comes and sort of follows this also, and they're going to be giving some amount of some percentage of the internships money from their side, and then they expect the training cost to be borne by the corporates or the employers themselves. Concerning PF also, I think they've done something for the people who are just picking up their jobs, the new workforce.
Yes. Government has done all these points. In fact, government has also incentivized startups, because they are the ones who are creating the employment. So earlier there was a concept of an angel tax. The angel tax has also been done away with. So that is a good boost for startups, and ultimately it is the startups which are creating the jobs as well. So the government has tried its best to create more employment.
Right, absolutely. So it seems the government is also saying that 1 month's provident fund contribution will be covered by the government. This is their youth employment incentive. They are saying that about 30 lakh, they are aiming for 30 lakh youth who would be entering the job market. So this nitty-gritty has to be, of course, worked out. We don't really know how this is going to happen. Which are the 30 lakh people which will be picked up? Because in India, we really don't know how many people will enter the job market. We have a young population, but how they are going to be chosen is also a question that we could ask. But talking about the middle class, okay, so the middle class is ideally identified as people who are really working hard, and they work more, they earn less, they save a lot. How do you view this budget in terms of middle class?
See, one thing which I don't like about the budget is that the changes that have been made, they are not applicable from today. They are applicable from the 1st of April. So if a middle class, so if a middle class has sold some assets, whether that's shares or properties, so he assumed that, okay, I'll pay a 10% tax or a 15% tax. But now, after a few months, he comes to know, oh, okay, what has happened? The tax rate have increased. So normally what happens is the budget comes in the month of February and the tax is applicable from April. So a person has time. Whereas this time, a person does not have time. So for people who are already investing in certain asset classes, they would not be happy. But for people who just starting up, who just started investing, there's more money in their hands. So for them, it is good. The standard deduction has increased, the slab rates have changed. For the middle class, in terms of savings, it is good. In terms of if somebody wants to liquidate the assets, it is not so good.
So it may not be good for Sharma ji, but Sharma ji ka beta is definitely, and beti is definitely going to benefit from it when they start working. So that's a good thing. But apart from that, if we look at the savings aspect, what do you think now going forward? Would you advise? If you have clients who come to you and say, okay, what should be the best way for me with the new tax points rolling out? What should be my preferred mode of saving? So I want you to leave our viewers with those points, a few tips of what they should do to maximize their savings and their returns on any investment that they're doing.
Sure. So earlier what the government used to do was they used to incentivize on investments. They were ATC investments, medical insurance, this, that stuff. But for the last few years, what we are seeing is that the government is focusing on the new scheme, which is without investments. So they say we are simplifying everything. So we'll be, irrespective of whether you make investments or not, we'll not be giving you any tax deductions. So earlier, sometimes people used to invest for the purpose of tax deductions only, and sometimes used to end up making the wrong investments for tax saving purposes. But now, because there are no tax saving on investments, so a person can make the right choices. A person can start an SIP, wherein he's contributing every month, and he can invest in the right form of SIP, not only ELSS, which was earlier tax exempt. So that way, a person will now be looking at avenues which maximize his return and not only tax savings.
So you suggest focus on returns rather than focusing on tax saving. Because that used to be the mantra when we started working. We would invest in an LIC policy. We didn't even understand why we are doing it, but we were told tax saving.
Yes.
So we would just
Yes.
buy one LIC policy and it would lapse after a while because you would stop paying the money. I know so many people who have bought LIC or some other policy and not kept it going. So that's then they forget about it and it's money down the drain. But that's a very good tip that you've given, that focus on your returns, how you can maximize your returns instead of focusing on tax saving. That seems to be a good idea. We'll focus on that. And I think this is a great budget for those who are starting to work out, and they should focus on, as you said, their returns in terms of saving. And I think we should start, people should, the young people don't really have love for gold, but I think the government is giving you enough opportunity and incentive to actually think of gold not as a beauty enhancer, but as a money enhancer for you. Thank you, Karan. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And we'd like to thank all our viewers also. They can keep logged in and they can subscribe to our channel India Today for more news updates and budget updates as well.